All right, everybody, ready for another deep dive? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get into it. We're talking presidential campaigns, hallowed grounds, and a whole lot of unanswered questions. This one's a doozy, folks, the Arlington altercation.
Yeah, this is one of those stories where politics and respect for the fallen really seem to collide.
And it's tough because you want to be respectful of the office and everything, but at the same time, it's like, come on, guys.
Exactly.
So picture this. August 26th, 2024. Former President Trump is at Arlington National Cemetery,
Okay.
supposedly to honor the anniversary of the Kabul airport attack.
Right?
A solemn occasion. Right. Gold Star families are present. Everyone's there to pay tribute to the 13 service members who lost their lives.
Absolutely a day of somber reflection.
Yeah, but then, according to the Army, a cemetery employee was abruptly pushed aside by someone from Trump's campaign staff.
Yeah.
Details are super sketchy.
Right.
But the Army very specifically called for decorum and professionalism at Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that tell you?
Well, I mean, it certainly raises a red flag. The wording very much suggests that whatever happened crossed a line, and that's where American Oversight steps in. They're like the watchdogs of government transparency, always digging for the truth.
Right. Always filing those FOIA requests.
Exactly. Using the Freedom of Information Act to get those records.
Ah, the FOIA, the ultimate tool to pry secrets out of the government.
They filed a FOIA request, and you want to know the kicker? A judge ordered the Army to release records related to the incident by this Friday.
Oh, wow. So this is coming out very, very soon.
Yes, very soon.
So we've got this alleged altercation. We've got this watchdog group demanding answers. And we've got a judge forcing the Army to spill the tea.
All the ingredients for a blockbuster story.
Right. So are you with me so far?
Absolutely.
Okay. So here's where it gets even more interesting. The Trump campaign denies that a physical altercation even happened. They claim they have footage to prove it. But surprise, surprise, they haven't released it yet.
Color me shocked.
Right. And then you have the Army's statement, which is pretty vague, but it does suggest that something did occur and that their employee acted professionally.
Right. So we have two very different versions of the story.
Okay.
Which raises a very, very crucial question. How do we get to the truth?
Right. And how does this whole thing impact public trust, especially during such a heated election?
That's the million-dollar question. But before we delve deeper into that, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the reactions from some key players. This whole incident has sparked some serious outrage, especially from Democrats.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Congressman Jamie Raskin and Vice President Kamala Harris, they've both voiced some pretty strong concerns.
Okay, so what are they saying? Like, what are their specific worries?
Well, first and foremost, they're worried about potential legal violations.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone on Trump's campaign did actually physically assault a cemetery employee,
Right.
that's a big deal.
Yeah, assault no matter where it happens.
Yeah. Exactly. But beyond that, they're also really concerned about the disrespect shown to fallen soldiers and their families.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, this supposed incident took place during a ceremony meant to honor those who died in service to our country.
That just adds a whole other layer to it, right?
Yeah.
To have something like this happen at a place that's meant for remembering and honoring the sacrifices of others.
Yeah, it's pretty appalling.
It is.
And then on top of all that, you have the whole issue of using a national cemetery for political gain.
Right. Like, Arlington is a place of solemn remembrance.
It's not a backdrop for campaign drama.
Exactly. It feels like a violation of something sacred.
Absolutely. And this whole situation really forces us to think about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
How do we balance freedom of speech and political activity with the need to respect sensitive spaces like Arlington?
Right.
Where do we even draw the line?
It's a tough question, and there's really no easy answer.
I agree. But it's a conversation that we need to have,
Yeah.
especially in the midst of, a really intense election season.
Absolutely. This isn't just about Trump or the Democrats. This is about our shared values as a nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how we honor those who served and how we ensure that places like Arlington remain spaces of solemn remembrance.
You hit the nail on the head there. And it also really underscores the importance of organizations like American Oversight. Those groups that are out there constantly fighting for transparency.
Right.
I mean, without their FOIA requests, this incident might have completely stayed hidden from the public eye.
Yeah, transparency is key. It's like they say, sunlight's the best disinfectant.
Exactly. And the judge's order to release the records, that's a huge victory for transparency.
Yeah.
We need facts, not just speculation and political spin.
We need the truth.
Exactly. We need the truth to really get to the bottom of this.
So where does that leave us?
Well, I think it leaves us with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
We have a potential scandal brewing and a really stark reminder that even sacred ground isn't immune to the world of politics.
Yeah, you can't escape it.
It challenges us to really think critically about how we ensure that places like Arlington remain spaces of solemn remembrance,
Right.
that they stay free from partisan battles. But before we wrap this up, I want to pose a question to you. Do you think we should have like stricter rules about political activity at national cemeteries? Or would that be like infringing on free speech rights? It's a tough one.
It really is. And those records the Army has to release, I mean, those could really blow this whole thing wide open. What do you think we might find in there?
Well, hopefully those records will give us some real concrete details about the incident itself.
Right.
Was there actual physical contact? Was it a push? Was it a shove? Was it something more aggressive?
Right, was it just like a little bump or was it like a full-on shove?
Exactly. We need to know exactly what happened.
Because right now, all we have is like he said, she said, and a lot of speculation.
Exactly. The records could also tell us who exactly was involved, because right now it just says someone on Trump's campaign staff.
Right.
Was it a senior official? Was it a low-level staffer?
Right. Was it someone who's like actually calling the shots or just like some random intern?
Exactly. And that could tell us a lot about how much the campaign knew and how responsible they are.
That's a good point. And it could also give us some insight into like the Army's response.
Hmm.
You know, did they take this seriously? Was there an internal investigation?
All questions that those records could answer.
Ooh, this Friday cannot come soon enough.
I know, right? And depending on what those records say, this whole thing could have some pretty big implications for the election.
Really? How so?
Well, think about it. If it turns out that the Trump campaign was, really behaving badly at Arlington, that could really damage their credibility,
Yeah,
alienate voters.
especially voters who, care about respecting the military and things like that.
Exactly. It could turn into a big liability.
Wow. This whole thing is like a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
We can't take anything for granted. We have to stay informed. We have to demand transparency, and we have to hold our leaders accountable for their actions.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We got to be critical thinkers, stay engaged, and never be afraid to ask the tough questions.
Love it. Well, that's it for our deep dive into the Arlington altercation. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think those records are going to reveal. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep on diving deep.